quick overview of what I carried on the TA. I'll just start with my pack. This is a ULA circuit. There's a good pack on the whole. I did find that the shoulder straps that sometimes slip over time, you know, especially if you're walking down long ridges. Just starting on the back, I had just a seat pad made by Cedar Summit. That was nice when you're sitting on wet grass or anything hard. That was good. And in the back here, I always used to just carry my any kind of rain gear. So I've got a Montbell jacket, quite lightweight, it's only small. That was good, so that was always on the outside if I needed to get it, if it was windy or cold or started raining, which it often did in New Zealand because you can never tell the weather. And I also had a little pack cover in the back there just to keep it packed dry. I did get a big plastic waterproof bag that I don't have anymore because it got holes in it, so I left it behind. For the inside of the backpack to keep everything dry, which worked really well even when I went for a swim. Okay, these are my walking poles that I used. These are Helinox, they're special lightweight aluminium. They'll work like a charm. These are Helinox Ridgeline, very good. Used them also to set up my tent, so that saved on weight. Okay, so what I wore was just some Columbia shorts. They're nice, some pockets in there that, you know, carry my phone and other things in there. They worked really well. Only problem is I lost a lot of weight, and so they got a little bit loose. And also, as you've probably seen in all my walks, I've got a Columbia shirt with roll-up sleeves. That was super. I love that because, especially with the sand flies in New Zealand, you could roll the sleeves down when you came to camp quickly to stop them biting your arms, and when it got hot during the day you could roll them up. Socks, these are a pair of Darn Toughs. They were perfect, I love them. They're the best socks ever. They're a bit worn out now, they've got some holes in them, so they've got lifetime warranty on them, so I'll see if I can get some new pair, but I wore them probably 90% of the time while I was walking. Just one pair of socks, so I really rate them. Also got some icebreaker socks. Now they also got a lifetime warranty on them, but they're nowhere near as good as these. They're much more fluffy, they break down a lot quicker. This is literally my third pair of socks that I got just before I left New Zealand, because one pair broke down within a couple of weeks, was only having a couple of days use on it, and then I probably used these for the last week and a half or something. Not these ones, but the ones before, and they got holes in it as well. So these are brand new, just got replaced. So when it comes to socks, Darn Tough are way better. So in here I've got my little electronic bag. I've got you know, my power bank and all my cables and torch and everything was in here. So that was in the bag of its own. I probably carried more power bank than I needed to, but that's so be it. For filtering the water, I used Ketadine B3. Mind you, in New Zealand, in the North Island, I sort of was selective where I filtered, probably filtered half the time. In the South Island, I hardly ever filtered, only I think filtered once or twice. The rest of the time was just from lovely streams, probably better water than you can get out of a tap. But anyway, that's all I used for filtering. A little towel. This is the towel I used when I wash myself, just a Cedar Summit small towel. Gets a bit tough trying to dry yourself with a size thing that's not much bigger than a tea towel, so it was good to have a proper towel, but that was nice and light and easy to use. The jacket I went to most of the time for to keep me warm in the evenings or during the day when it was cool was just a polar fleece. Couture polar fleece, cost me $6 in Australia. Beautiful, you know, you could get wet. I didn't have to look after it, you know, it was tough. So Also had some long pants. There's also some Patagonia long pants, but I only wore them spasmodically, just at night time, you know, to keep the sandflies away. Probably didn't really need them, but it was good for the sandflies. I expected New Zealand to be a lot colder than it was, and so I thought I might wear these more than I did, but I didn't actually wear them that much. So that's that. I bought some, these are just some cheap polypropylene leggings. I only used them a couple of times as well, mainly to keep the sandflies away. It really didn't get cold enough to use them. I got a good sweep sleeping bag, as I'll show you later, and so I really didn't need them, and it didn't get that cold that I needed them, because mind you, I finished at the end of February. If I'd gone into sort of the end of March, I possibly would have needed them more often. So that was that. Just a woolen t-shirt from DHB that I used for sleeping in and in the evening times. I didn't hike in this, but and it was also for walking around town that I wore with the long pants. And this was a food bag I had, basically empty now, but that was my food bag for. It's just a Sil 9 bag, and I could keep all my food together rather than spreading out through my pack. This is my cooking setup. It's just basically a titanium pot with a cooker in it, and I had a collapsible Cedar Summit cup. And I used gas, like gas canister cooking. I was going to use methylated spirits, but because I didn't think it was very readily available, but apparently it is very readily available in New Zealand. So if you want to use metho, you can use metho there as well. But the cooker went well. Okay, what I got here? Oh, this is just a long sleeve woolen t-shirt from Cedar Summit again. This is my go-to shirt that I got if it got really cold. I wear as a base layer, but it never got that cold. Same with the polypropylene pants, so I didn't really need that. I used it sometimes around town. Okay. Alright, here comes next is my air mattress. This was beautiful. This is a Cedar Summit Etherlite XT, just a regular size. I did start off the trip with an Exped mat, and I don't rate Exped mats much. It blew a baffle, and so I ended up getting hold of this one. This one was absolutely faultless. Worked for 3/4 of the trip beautifully. Easy to blow up, light. If there's any problem with it, it's probably a little bit narrow because it's shaped, but I'm only thin anyway. I'm not a big person, so I didn't have any problem with it. But if you're a big person, you might want to get a rectangular shaped one. But this one was beautiful. I love this mat. It was awesome. So this is my quilt. It's a Katabatic 22 degrees Fahrenheit quilt, which is -6 degrees Celsius. It worked beautifully. I actually never had to close it up. I mostly use it just as a plain open wide quilt. It's not got a built-in footbox or anything like that. And I was more than warm enough on every night. Only a couple of nights that I kind of sort of do the back up a little bit to keep myself warm in the early hours of the morning, but otherwise it was perfect. And I ended up just getting a Cedar Summit Sil nylon waterproof bag, just in case, you know, better safe than sorry, in case everything got wet. What else have I got then? So rain pants. I also had a pair of rain pants. They were good on a few days. I didn't really use them that much, so they were good also to help you keep warm with, you know, cold wind and stuff. I did use them a little bit, so they were worthwhile. But they're just an old pair of rain pants that I got, waterproof rain pants. This is a Cedar Summit pillow. It works good. The airbag built into this air mattress can blow this up as well, so the combination, they just work beautifully. Okay. Now for my sleep system as well, I had just a silk nylon liner that I used to sleep in, because sometimes I'd be muddy and I wasn't able to wash off properly. So to be able to protect the sleeping bag, this was beautiful, and it helped a little bit with the warmth as well. So it's awesome. Oh, and here's just some very thin Cedar Summit woolen micro gloves that I was very happy to use a few times in the South Island. Initially I thought I'd brought them over for nothing, but there was a few very cold mornings and I was very happy to have had them, so they're worthwhile having. Okay, also had a Cedar Summit silk nylon sort of day bag, which was really good for going to resupply or anything. If you had a day off, you can just pull this out, put some stuff in it. Yeah, that was really worth it. Only tiny, weighs almost nothing, and it folds out. And I think it's about 25 litres or something you can put in there. Okay, I had a bit of a buff. I didn't use much as a buff, but I used it more as a eye block for night time, because the sun at one point there wasn't going down until about 9:30, and we were going to bed at 8 o'clock, so that helped me sleep at night. What else have I there? Oh, just a Cedar Summit beanie with a bald head. That come in really handy. Okay, then I got my tent, and this is a 6 Moon Designs Lunar Solo. That worked perfectly. Had no troubles with it. Can get a little bit flappy when the breeze gets up a bit, but that's good. It's really roomy inside. It only weighs 850 grams. Everybody was really jealous of me that I had such a roomy tent and something that weighed so little, because I combined it with my one of my trekking poles to set it up. But yeah, I really loved that. That was awesome. Yeah, faultless. I slept in about probably half the time on the whole trip. The rest of the time rather in huts or in backpackers and stuff. The only problem I did have it with it, a weka, which is like a I don't know, chicken-like bird with a big long beak, poked a hole in it one day, and I think the second or third last time I used it, a mouse decided to chew his way through to it, so I've got to fix that up. I've got a couple of little holes in it. So, what else have I got in here? Oh yeah, I took a Montbell umbrella with me, which worked really good in the North Island. Used it a few times, 2 or 3 times, and then I think about the 3rd or 4th time I went to use it, it had broken. It wouldn't stay up anymore. So yeah, while it worked, it was good. It was extremely light. I think it's only weighs about 80 grams or something. So I'm going to have to go back to Montbell about that and see if they can hopefully replace it. But we'll see. But otherwise, it was good. It was worth it, but then ended up being just a bit of dead weight. I think that's it. Now, in this pocket here, I had just my, in a Ziploc bag, my first aid kit. Basically, that's just made up of band-aids, some ibuprofen, some antihistamines, a sewing kit, some tape for, bandaging things up, and some tenacious tape, if I needed anything fixed on the tent or anything like that, which I never ended up using. So that was all I had in there, and now and here I've also got a repair kit for the air mattress. Then I've got another pocket over here that was used to put my shaving gear and toothpaste and toothbrush and soap and stuff went in there. Yeah, so everything went good. On the front, I've got here, as you can see, this is where I would keep my, I had a little tripod that I carried along, very lightweight, very universal, can tie it to trees, set it up anywhere however I like. It was very good, and that would just sit on the front of my pack. And then on the other side, I used to keep my Garmin inReach for communication, and I could get to it very quickly, and because I could follow I was tracking myself on that as well. So that was it. The pack was good. It looks almost brand new, really. Doesn't really seem to be used. It looked like it's walked more than 3,000 kilometres. The pockets are awesome. Oh yeah, just in this left pocket, right pocket here, I just had a small, very small knife. It's just a Bear Grylls knockoff. Very light. I'd keep my muesli bars and things in the front there. So when I have a break or something, I can easily get hold of them. One thing I did have to do at the end of the North Island, I switched out the hip belt because I had a medium hip belt and I'd lost that much weight I couldn't tighten it anymore. So I've now got a small hip belt. So that's the beauty of having a ULA pack. You can just switch these things out. So that's that. I hope that's been informative for you and gives you a bit of help and idea what you might need on the TA. I went through 3 pairs of shoes. I had the first pair actually were too small for me within about actually less than 3 weeks. Within 2 weeks they were too small for me. My feet had grown that much, and ended up switching over to some Brooks Cascadias. They were pretty good. The only problem, I think the mesh on the top wasn't the strongest as possible, because they always, after about 600-700 kilometres, the mesh on the top started breaking down and ended up with big holes. So, but anyway, I managed to get through with just 3 pairs of shoes. So, yeah, and that was really the only other problem I had, was the shoes and the socks, basically. But yeah, awesome trip, and get out there.